everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Gina of Gina R Lee Budgets. I am a zero-based budgeter who utilizes the cash as well as the cashless envelope system to assist me on my journey to financial and debt freedom. I'm also an Etsy shop owner. If you're new here, I do videos about budgeting, cash stuffing, couponing, grocery hauls, meal planning, anything revolving around saving money. And something new that I'm trying today is a September reset video. In this video, I will discuss my goals for September and the areas of my life that I feel are necessary to do a complete reset and make it a major focus for me. If that's the kind of content that interests you, please press that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. If you're a returning subscriber, hey, thank you guys so much for coming back and tuning in for another one of my videos. I appreciate the love, support, and most definitely the prayers. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have notes here. I gave this a lot of thought simply because of everything that has been going on in our lives. And to be honest with you, me kind of feeling like I'm losing myself in the process. For those of you who have been or are caregivers, it's a very, very difficult job. For instance, for me, I care for my husband who's battling bladder cancer. In order to make that happen, I still have to maintain a full-time job, and I also have to balance my Etsy shop as well as my YouTube channel. In addition to that, I'm financially responsible for our family, so I handle the budget, the bills, the grocery shopping. I take care of appointments, getting him to and from anytime he goes to the hospital, following up with doctors, and it's just a lot required of a caregiver, and it doesn't take long if you're not careful to reach what they call caregiver burnout. And I plan on doing a video separate going into more detail. So today I'm going to talk about 4 areas that I would like to reset and put a plan in place to make these a major priority for me. First one being is my spirituality. Now, I don't feel like I have neglected my spirituality at all. I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. I have great faith, and I know that God will heal my husband from what he's dealing with. I make it a point, if I don't do anything else, I get up in the morning and do my prayer and devotion, and I tend to pretty much kind of pray and worship throughout the day, but I just want to make it shift my focus to go even deeper, because that's one of the things that I identified myself with. It's my spirituality, so I want to make it even more of a priority in this next month and so on. Next, of course, is our finances. My husband has been out of work since he initially got sick back in December of 2021. And we've had medical expenses, we've had to meet deductibles, you name it, and we've had a major loss of income. So we really had to adjust because our budget is still based on a 2-income household. So it's been a major adjustment for us, and one of the reasons why, even though I knew I was pressed for time already, I started my Etsy shop. I always had a passion to have an Etsy shop, but I always knew that the time constraints might be a little bit much for me. But it finally got to a point where I felt like I didn't have a choice. And so I just went full speed ahead, and I really honestly didn't give it a lot of thought. And I've had great success, and I'm grateful, but it has been very very demanding. So for September, I want to also shift my focus onto my work and work-life balance. I want to really organize myself a lot better in terms of my Etsy shop. I want to kind of make plans to separate out my day, because my husband said something really profound, and to be honest, it kind of bothered me. What he said was that, you do so much for me. You take care of me, you change my dressings, you follow up with the doctors, you make sure I'm eating, you make sure, my medications, I have refills and things like that. You do so much for me. I don't even know how you have the time to do all that you do. But after you've done all of that, you don't do very much with me. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. And I felt bad. I felt bad because, he's battling cancer, future uncertain, and you never know, what the future may hold. And I'm sure that his time with me in his mind is more precious than all this other stuff that's got me so busy. So I definitely want to do some work-life balance, and make sure that I'm dedicating not just time to him or for him, but with him. And then I'd save this for last, but it's definitely not least. But I definitely want to prioritize my personal health and my self-care. A lot of times as caregivers, we neglect ourselves and we put ourselves last. And, I had to really stop and think about, what would happen if I just completely neglected myself and then turned around, something happened to me. It happened to my uncle. I saw it happen firsthand. My uncle, his wife had terminal cancer, and he was taking care of her. He was still working full time. He did everything for her. He never asked for help. He did everything himself. And she was kind of like at the point where we were expecting her to make her transition like any day. And we got a phone call, and it was his wife. And she said to my grandmother that my uncle was dead. And we thought, because she was terminal and, expecting to pass any day, that maybe her mind, she was confused. And he had, in fact, came home from work and laid across the bed and had a major heart attack. So if you're a caregiver, you have to put yourself first. It's not selfish. You're not doing the person that you're caring for any harm. You have to put yourself first. So it's so important, not just for me, but for any caregivers out there. You have to put yourself first. You are better for your loved one when you're taking care of yourself. And I'm telling that to me as well, because I'm just as guilty. So therefore, my September reset is going to be self-care, me time, and taking care of myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to we have a lot of people living in our house right now. So I tend to it sounds weird, but I set up stations for myself. I'll show you guys. I had to move to a different space in the house for an office. It's much smaller, but I'm grateful that I even had an additional space to make it happen. And so it's just kind of learning some ways to maximize my space. But I have stations set up. I call them stations, but they don't look like stations, but they're areas of the house that I know I could have privacy and quiet and things like that, but different times of the day, depending on what's going on. So I'm going to kind of take you guys around and chit chat from each little spot. So hang on. So the next area that we'll focus on, this is what I call my work area. If I'm working for my full-time job, this is my laptop. I utilize my monitor, my big monitor, for really both things, but this is my work laptop. This is where I sit. I have my phone holder set up because I do a lot of Zoom calls. So this will be my work area. This is where I budget. This is where I film. And so this is like my hub. This is where I'm like probably the most stressed. And that's what I don't like about it, because it's here that I feel a ton of pressure, if that makes sense. So this is where I work. This is where I film. This is my personal laptop. So anything Etsy related, if I'm creating, it's here. Most of the important things that generate money happen in this space. So of course it's a kind of a stressful space for me. As much as I try to pink up my office and make it look so calm and clean, keeping it clean helps, but making it look so calm and things like that, honestly, it's not enough because it's still a place of stress. So we're gonna go over my budget for the month of September, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, and now we are at the budget. I'm not going to go over in huge detail, but this is the way I like to do my budget. I like to know everything that's due, and the way my budget is, the purple labels are mostly subscription type things, and I put that on my credit card just so I could get the points, and then I just pay the credit card every 2 weeks. Whatever the balance is, I pay that off. And then the gold color are auto pays that are auto drafted directly out of my checking account. So that's how I like to make sense of it all. The only thing that's not included here, and I'll usually put it here to the side somewhere, is my daily spending, but it's definitely in my budget. I put goals here. I'd like to continue my pantry challenge. I'd like to have at least 10 no spends. I really want to clean the garage and have a garage sale. I put goals as self-care, of course, and things to do. I want to update my Etsy, add new products, and I want to do me. I want to do me. All right. So numbers wise, this is where we are. I get paid bi-weekly, so twice a month, and I don't get paid on the first of the month. So what I budget for September is from whenever my first paycheck is until my first paycheck in October. So this budget will cover September 9th through October 6th. So if that makes sense, that means I've already paid our rent, and we will have a rent for October due in this budget, not September. It's already done when this budget is in effect. So basically, rough estimate, I have already deducted my tithes, and I estimated just 100 for YouTube because I'm like right there. So I don't expect it to be much more than that, if that. Etsy, I don't budget anything just in case. It's always extra if I make anything. And then miscellaneous is money that I get a combination between my son and my daughter. So these are our expenses. The total, okay, so income total is $59.95 for the month. Bill total is $4,790, leaving us with $1,205, which I rounded to $1,200. Then minus my cash wallet envelopes for the entire month is $800. That leaves us with $400. Our sinking funds, I don't have very many, and I put my gas here.
totaling the $400 that's left, and there's nothing left after that. So no room for error, no debt payment, no savings. This is our budget. And it's zero base because we're definitely at zero. And so that's our September budget. You guys will see as I get paid every week how I break it down per paycheck. And this area is where I keep a big overview of our budget. So basically so that everybody knows what's going on. I don't have any secrets. This is what we got to handle for the month. And also, this is where I do most of my faith planning, my devotion, some prayer, depending on the time of day. This area is good first thing in the morning. Like, as soon as I wake up about 5 o'clock in the morning. So, of course, everybody's still sleeping. My son is not home from work yet. And so normally I get about an hour of like complete silence. And then Memphis wakes up and I start, taking him out and feeding him and things of that nature. My husband tends to not get up very, very early. I let him kind of sleep until his body wants to wake up. But here I kind of keep stickers and planners and a little candle. It's kind of more relaxed. I feel good here. This is where I may drag my planner from upstairs and do like my weekly planning because I love that and it brings me joy and peace. So I may bring it down here and work on it here. I always have YouTube playing. Really, wherever I am, I have something playing with YouTube on it. So yes, this is my area of peace and serenity. This is at the front of the house. It has a big open window and no one lives in this room. It is a guest room, and now mind you, we have guests often, so a lot of times it's somebody in here, but no one resides in this room. So this is an area, it has a door, of course, if I need privacy, if it's a bad time of the day where people are going around and out and about or whatever, and I just need a moment, I would come here. I would sometimes bring my Bible in with me and this is a privacy for me. Privacy where I can kind of talk to God, talk to myself. But this is more peace for me. It's bright, it's cheerful. I decorated it myself, and so of course you guys can kind of see me in the decor. And so this is a nice place for me. This space brings me joy and peace. All right, so let's see what's next. My bathroom to be my final spot, and of course I chose the bathroom because this is where most of my self-care takes place. So I love my bathroom. I like to keep it super clean. I don't know what it is. Normally my bathroom, honestly, is a lot cleaner than even my bedroom. But so I have a tub, and I'll kind of span around a little bit so you guys can see, but I have a really nice soaking tub and space, got room to, even though somehow Kevin always ends up on my side messing up, but this is my spot that I can come in. Of course, I have privacy in the bathroom, well, most of the time. So this is my other spot. So I would advise you to, not that I call them stations, but you don't have to designate them as stations, but always have a place to go. Okay? Always have a place to go. A place that's, even if it's only for a moment, a space that's just yours, that you can kind of go if you need to kind of woosah a little bit, or just gather yourself. Or sometimes I have to find one of my stations and I literally have to go into prayer, because I'll be on the brink of like losing it. I'm gonna tell you, I'll be on the brink of losing it, going off on somebody, or just saying, okay, I'm closing down my shop, I give up, I'm not doing YouTube anymore. So those are my 3 emotions that I battle with the most. And then of course, sadness, because of all that's going on with my husband, and it's just been so long and it doesn't feel like it's going to end, and it's always something. But we trust God, so I tend to not feel sad. Sad is not really the correct word. I feel a little bit fatigued and overwhelmed, but I never question God in terms of why my husband is dealing with this or why we're dealing with this, because we know that God gives his biggest battles to his strongest soldiers. So I joked around with my pastor a few days ago. I'm like, well, you know what? God must think I'm the Terminator or something like that, because I'm getting it all right now. But I bless God that he continues to provide and protect, and we trust him to continue. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was different for me, kind of out of my comfort zone, but I want to try and do this every month and reset and go over the goals. And I didn't necessarily set goals, I just prioritized things. So I'll review how it went, and if I need to tweak it, if I want to change it, if I want to add something, if I want to take something away. So you guys stay tuned. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. Bye.